This is the men's room.
Get it, man, and get with the countdown. Shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville. The trippers, the grasshoppers, the hit ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
You're listening to the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
What is your naked story? 844-999. Hola. And we're back to Joe. Hello, Joe. Welcome back to the men's room.
How are you guys doing?
Doing great, man. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I'm off work.
Okay.
So, my naked story is I grew up out on Whidbey Island. I don't know if you guys know anything about it, but you're out in the middle of the woods most of the time.
So being naked, I would guess, is just a part of the thing.
Well, our driveway was about 50 yards long growing up. And I'm home alone. Mom, Dad, and the siblings were off. And I see these two people walking down the driveway. And I realize they're very nicely dressed. They're probably Jehovah's Witnesses. First and last time I've ever seen them out there. But they get to the porch, I crank up Slayer and just get completely butt naked. Whip open the door as they knock and stand in the Captain Morgan's position trying to get them to come in the house to talk to me about Jesus.
Did they come inside?
No, they politely refused and turned tail and ran pretty quick.
Did they just say it's raining blood?
But they didn't even offer you like the. I mean, because one thing, like I said, you could. There was a point in my life where every single Sunday they came by, and finally I just went downstairs and I berate them like, man, I do what you got to do, but guys, you come to my house every single Sunday. You need to communicate. You got to know that you've been here before. It's like 8 o'clock in the morning every goddamn week. All this stuff, and. Well, we'll apologize, but if we can leave this with you, I'm just like, oh, my God.
I will say this.
Like, stop being nice.
I will say, and back to that, I will say this about the Jehovah's Witnesses. There are a group normally that are 2 or 3 Jehovah's Witnesses that set up outside of my bus stop on the way home. And I will give them credit, man. They smile to everybody who walks by. They don't outwardly talk to anybody or solicit anything or hand anything to anybody.
And that's the difference.
If someone wants to come and talk to them, they will gladly talk to you, gladly give you any information, any literature, but they are completely hands off. If nothing more than a smile and a how are you and a hand wave. And if you want to talk to them, you can, but if not, and I've seen this for over, 8 months, 9 months we've been in this building watching them do this. And I have the utmost respect for them and what they're doing, because they're not the ones knocking on the doors. I mean, they probably have, but in this instance, the ones that are standing out there, and they always have different people who come and volunteer. I'm like, you know what? They're nice to people. They never get in people's face.
But that's it.
It's not like the megaphone people who are down at the stadium going like, you're going to hell. Like those people.
But see, it's like walking down the street and there's a bunch of stores. They don't run outside and say, please come into Target. We'd like you to come into Target. They are there. There's their signage. Yeah, exactly. And if I decide that that's where I want to go, I'm down with that.
But that's not the norm in that,
Well, it is not.
It's just not the norm.
I also think, like,
there's a couple that don't want you. We know those. Like, if you're
sure.
Jewish, like, no, we got enough people here.
We understand. But I always wonder, like, I see the young kids that have to do it, and I know they're making you do it, but a lot of it's like the older ladies, and I always think to myself, like, you're very nice, but you're also like, this is like taking a job in customer service or being the meter maid, as they call it. Like, nobody's happy to see you. It's not a reflection of you as a human being, but every time people see you, they groan and roll their eyes, right? I mean, that's got to be, that would take a mental toll on me. Like, every single place I go, no one's happy to see me. And it's not like because I'm a detective or a bail bondsman. It's not like no one did anything to warrant me showing up, but when I do show up, no one is like, every time someone opens their door, even if they're being nice, you still just kind of see the.
That's just door to door. Like, I did door to door sales.
I know,
like,
man.
nobody is pumped to see on their doorstep.
But at least I go, all right. And you're right. I still don't want to see your ass, but the difference is I'm like, but this guy's trying to hustle and make some money. Like, there's a reason why he's here, and solidly this affects your finances. With them, I can take your literature, all this stuff, but there's a difference. It doesn't help.
It's so socially the way we've evolved in a culture, and hadn't even been that long, but when you did door to door, it wasn't uncommon for people to knock on the door.
Sure.
When, it wasn't, you would pick up the phone because it rang in your home.
Right.
You didn't know who it was. You didn't know who was calling, but you knew the phone was ringing, so you needed to pick it up. Anymore, if you see a phone number on your phone that you don't recognize, it's not on your phone. Like, I don't know who this is. I'm not going to answer this phone call. And the same holds true with knocking on the door. Like, you expect when the doorbell or you know who's coming over. You have someone coming over.
Or it's Amazon.
And anybody else.
Right.
Dropping, or anybody else. You just like, you ignore it because I didn't have anybody know. I don't know who the hell that is.
Hey, by the way, is Amazon, do they outsource like who delivers their package? And I don't mean UPS, but on several occasions now over the summer, I'll be outside smoking a cigarette. And like some ratty ass car kind of comes up the driveway, slow. So you know they're looking for something. And it's just random people like, hey man, they give you the address, they dig around, they hand you the box, and off they go.
Right.
And I'm like, if you did not have 2 of the 3 people I've seen in the last 2 weeks, if you did not have an Amazon package and you knocked on my door, it'd definitely be the hell do you
Somebody's
want?
going to get shot, though.
Yeah.
I mean, like, seriously, because like I've seen people walk out of the back of my driveway, like when I'm coming, and there's 3 or 4 homes back there. Right?
Yeah, right.
So it's like it's a little townhome. So when somebody walks in and out of there, like scared to live in hell. I'm like, Jesus, who are you? I don't even know who you are. And like, they got packages and stuff, but they don't have any identification.
Well, that's it.
So you don't know who it is. You know what I mean? It's like,
I had to knock on a neighbor's door who I've not met. Just the way the houses are situated, there's no reason we'd physically see each other just based on the tree line, right? So basketball bounces over the fence, goes into this guy's yard, and knock on the door, and I am just pouring with sweat. It's one of these hot-ass weekends. Pouring with sweat. I look gross. This guy opens the door, and I would just say, if you were to take a look at the 2 of us, for the most part, we look like we'd be diametrically opposed on many, many things. He has that look, I have my look, and he opens the door, and you can tell he's a little taken aback because there's just a sweaty brother standing out his door. So he tries to be cool, and he's just like, what's up? So I said, look, man, I suck at basketball. My ball rolled into your yard, but it's in your backyard. I just wanted to let you know why you might see my ass in your backyard. And he's like, hey, thank you, man. That's actually a really nice thing to do. I said, I'm not being nice. I don't want to be shot. I said, I'm being dead honest with you. Like, I'm just going to grab the basketball, but in the time it takes me to do this, if you see me, you might have a weird reaction. So I just want to let you, this is about my safety. I'm not being a nice neighbor. I just want to be clear about that.
But then you did invite him to come over and play some hoops.
I absolutely did. Yeah, well, at that point, we got along. But I was like, no, it's not about being nice to you. I don't want to die.
What is your naked story? 844-999-OLA.
Hello, Sarah. Welcome to the men's room.
Hey, how you doing?
Hola.
So, my story's a lot longer than what I had told whoever answered the phone. Sorry.
Poor Mike.
Okay, so this is like back in 2001, I think. And I'm like 30 years old, so I'm kind of young and dumb. But I'm dating this guy, and I'm going to Hawaii with him. And I should have never gone. We hadn't been dating for very long. You really get to know somebody when you go on vacation with them.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Kind of recommend that. It ended very quick.
Did it end in Hawaii?
Right after that.
Okay.
Because
All right.
I had to get home. And really things were fine until the last day before we left. And he was just so possessive and so jealous and just crazy. It was scary. And it was like, no, I can't do this. And he was just turned on a dime. It was so weird. And the next day was even weirder. So we decide we're going to go watch, this is the last night we're there, we're going to go watch the sunset on the beach. So we go down to the Outrigger Hotel. We're on Waikiki. We go down to the Outrigger Hotel. We go down to the beach. We watch the sunset on the beach. Then we go to the bar in the Outrigger. We're sitting at the bar getting drinks, and the song comes on, and I go out and dance, and he sits at the bar, and he has a drink. And I'm just dancing by myself. I'm the only one on the dance floor. So now I come back, and the seat I had been sitting at the bar now has several people at it. So somebody has taken my seat. Now, he didn't say anything. There's like 2 couples sitting now, so it's not like I'm going to get my chair back. So I go to sit at the chair on the other side of him, but there's a man sitting in the chair next to that chair. So I don't want to sit there if somebody else is sitting there.
Sure.
So I ask him, is anybody sitting here? And he's like, no, go ahead and take that seat. The guy I'm with instantly turns on this guy. Are you hitting on my girl?
Uh-oh.
What are you saying to her? And I mean, he like flips out on this guy. And I'm like, oh my God, no. What are you doing? I was so embarrassed. I was like, what is happening? And he's like insistent that this guy is hitting on me, and this guy's like totally flustered. And the guy I'm with is really big. He's like 6'2", and he looks like he's a wrestler. I mean, he's huge. Also another funny story, but anyway.
Where does the nudity? Where does the nudity come in? Because I know you said you're going to make this a long story, and you've done a very good job at that. But where does the nudity come in?
Anyways, shortly.
Okay.
Anyway, so this guy leaves. Then these girls are like, "Are you okay? What was going on?" So now I'm talking to these girls, and then he accuses these girls of hitting on me, and then he starts calling me a slut and calling me all these names. Now he gets kicked out of the bar. So I leave with him because I'm thinking to myself, if this is what's going to happen, if he's calling me all these names here at the bar, I just need to get home. Let's go. So I leave, and I'm hammered. I'm drinking shots this entire time. I'm hammered. Let's just go. So now we're leaving, and these girls follow us, and they're like, I just want you to know, he's getting kicked out. You're not. You're choosing to leave with him. And I'm like, yeah, that's fine. So now I leave. So now he's berating me the entire way through the Outrigger Hotel out out to the beach or out to the street. And so it's like, finally it's like, okay, I gotta leave. I'm not listening to this. So I let him walk on and I stay back.
Oh, and there it is.
Once again, bedroom colors, here are the 7 words you can't say on the radio. Sucker, mother, and please keep those words in mind when calling. Now back to the program.
Wow, we believe it or not, honest to God, we ran out of time. We ran out of time on the story.
Did we not hear Mike?
We couldn't hear. Mike, what were you going to say?
I just love it when callers go rogue, that's all.
Oh. Yeah, if you want to drive by crazy, tell them one thing.
You'll never know what happened.
It's about nudity. I'll get there after I make this story really long.
We gave you 5 minutes. We gave you a full 5.
Argued with the dude, whatever. And then this is why I got naked. Mm-hmm. That's all.
Yeah. Our question, what's your naked story? We've got your emails coming up. Also on the program from ESPN, Kenny Mayne. And
he'll get naked.
Yeah, he will. He's going to join us to talk about it. Runfreely.org. All that and more is coming up. You are listening to the Men's Room Radio Network.
Hola, bichola. You have entered the men's room.
Our question, what is your naked story? Here come those emails from the men's room at mensroomlive.com. .com.
Yeah. .com.
You got mail. You got mail.
Hey, dog. You got mail.
You got mail. All right, here we go. All naked ladies and Wobbin. Today is my daughter Wobbin's first birthday. Can you get her the birthday song maybe and a little kid face sandwich? Thanks, guys. And we hope that Ted makes it back safely from vacation, and he has. Thanks, guys. That from Jeremy, the tax guy. All right, let's move on.
By the way, Miles, one real quick story. Mm-hmm. I was in a beer garden at the festival's hat, and some guy looks at me and goes, "Where you been, man?" I just took my sunglasses off. I was like, I hope you're kidding. You're standing in the damn beer garden that I've been standing in for 3 days.
Guys,
you know where I've been.
Love the show. I'd love to give some birthday love to my baby boy, Amsterdam, who is 2 years old. Can he get a Suck It Up cupcake, please? Thanks, guys. That from Tanner.
So, suck it up, cupcake.
Our son, Caleb, is 9 today. Loves listening to your show. Please wish him a happy birthday from his mom and dad, and also some German birthday wishes from Ted and Steve. Thanks. You guys rock. That from Laura.
Yeah, you said he is 9 years old. Yeah, in another 60 years, I will have something to tell you.
Yeah, stay in school and his name is fun to say. 999.
Ben is our amigo Hunter's birthday. He's 22 years old. Can you give me your penis is too small? Thanks 100 from the dirtiest whorehouse in Rochester, listening at WCMF. Birthday shout out, 25 years old. I doubt any else will do it for me. How about some dirty Germans, please? Appreciate it, guys. Thanks. Love the show. That from Case.
Yeah, we will celebrate beer for your birthday. I will let you drink from my Heine can if you let me drink from your bush.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. Maybe I can use some Bush Light because I'm into that Brazilian look.
Guys, it's my amazing fiance's 29th birthday today. Her name is Kayla. Can you hit her with a Leroy Jenkins? Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Leroy
Guys, wish Kyle a happy 32nd. He wants Wobbin to say something in her German slang. Thanks, guys. You're the best. That from Nicole.
Ja, dein Kuchen schmeckt.
A lot of wish Mark, a.k.a. Chipper, a big old happy birthday. He's 38 years old. How about a suck it up cupcake, please, from his hot wife and 4 brat children.
So, suck it up, cupcake!
Happy birthday to Lloyd Petunia. How about an original fish sandwich, please?
Fish sandwich?
How about a Joey Chestnut for, let's see here, whose birthday it is? It's my birthday, Nick. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Chestnut!
Oh, it's just my husband's 40th is today. Can you wish him a happy birthday? Give him some dirty Germans. Love the show, guys. Thanks a lot. That from Jen.
Yeah, I hate to use innuendo, but I want to stick something in your endo.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if you'd like the juice around the Vienna sausages. Because it's going to smell and taste like that.
Guys, it's my sister Angela's 43rd. How about giving her a big old Leroy Jenkins? That's for Trevor. Guys, today's my stepdad's birthday. His name is Brent, pronounced Bert Doe. He is a big Slayer fan. Maybe you guys could give him a Slayer! I love the show. That from Ashley. Happy 45th birthday to my husband. I got super busy and sidetracked. Maybe give him some dirty German. I know he'll love it. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, I would like to be your human tuba. That way you'll have something to blow.
Yeah, just call me hostess, because you're going to end up with a Twinkie in your mouth.
Guys, today is the 47th anniversary of the day the world blessed with me, with my presence. Let's see here. How about your penis is too small. I love you guys. That from the lovely Teresa. I'm flying through these as fast as possible. Happy birthday to my good friend, Ellen. Absolutely, guys, you have the best radio show. Hands down, thank you. How about a original fish sandwich? Thanks for the laughs. That from Christopher.
Fish sandwich?
A guy's name's Hannah, and it's my dad Adam's 50th birthday. How about a big frickin' bong rip? Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. That from Hannah. Guys, how about a great uncle giving him a happy birthday shout out, Uncle Hubert. He is 100 years old today. How about the dirty Germans in his honor? Thanks, that from Bill the Cat.
Yeah, congratulations on being 100 years old.
Yeah, Hubert. You know what I like about your name? It reminds me of all the times I Humphreys.
And finally, guys, want to wish Van Scooter Shackelford, the Bonnie Lake Cowboy, a very happy birthday from the bottom of my heart. Listening to your show, met that guy, and we've been partying in his home for 3.5 years, and we've become dear friends. Please give him some turtle sex with an andro penis in the paws. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it very much. That from the Ginger Mix.
Andro penis.
That's fun.
All right, guys, here you go. Happy, happy, happy birthday. Happy, happy, happy birthday. Happy, happy, happy birthday to you, to you, to you. Bitches.
Ja, so Dirty Germans brought to you by Men's Room Original Sausage. Available through Uli's world famous sausage, mensroomlive.com, and other fine retailers. Schweinefleisch.
See, what happened, Kitty Mayne, was when Chi-Chi's went out of business, the birthday song had to continue from someone. And we felt that we needed to carry that torch. Kitty Mayne from ESPN, how are you, sir?
No, my microphone doesn't work.
Yeah, or is it your headphones that don't work?
Or the headphones.
We can hear you just
fine.
fine.
I was an audio-visual aide in 9th grade.
Yeah, well, did you...
They just suck at it?
I did. They fired me. Mr. Olson said I was showing up late and wasn't diligent enough.
Is it weird for you to do live things, like to be on the air live? Because you really don't do that in your current job, do you?
Actually, I do. Sports Center's always live.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
I forgot you were on Sports Center.
I was like, yeah, the Sports Center thing.
It's a show that's been on since
Yeah, for a
1979.
really, really long time.
But you maybe were referring to what last time we were together. I was not. I was doing all the field feature, traveling around the world, horse races.
What's more fun for you to do? Is it doing the field stuff where you can edit it down, or just like when it's live, just go?
Commercials are the most fun.
Yeah, well, you do seem to enjoy those pretty much. We were actually watching a video you did, a spoof on the Seahawks many years ago about teaching the quarterbacks how to slide and all that stuff. And
that was based in reality, though, because Jim Zorn was the quarterback coach, and that was a real thing he did. He put a slip and slide on the field, and he wanted to get the guys to practice sliding, so they wouldn't get hurt.
Yeah.
And so we then mocked that with all the other guys playing with Tonka trucks and whatnot. But
it's funny, but that's not how you got hurt, is it?
I got hurt on the last play of a game at Oregon. I played for UNLV. It didn't play very much. So we were getting killed. I'm in there at the end because they bring in the bad players.
Right.
A guy decides to get a good grade on film on Monday and sticks his helmet on my ankle to end the game. So I had what's called a fracture dislocation. But I played the next year because
you did play.
You're young, you're stupid, you're healthier, you're better, you're whatever. And then I didn't play anymore after that. But yeah, and then now that was a long time ago. So each year subsequent to that, it's gotten less well.
Well, you've been
funny how that works. I didn't even injure my ankles, and I realized it's a little like for me. It's the moment I'm walking with my kids, right? And I used to be a fast guy, but like cars are coming, let's jog across the street. On my first step, I'm like, I'm going to break my goddamn ankle. But legitimately, I'm thinking like, this is unbelievable. No one hit me. And by the way, as far as the guy that hit you, do we know his name? Like,
you know what?
Is it Warren Sapp? I mean, is this someone we know?
We did a story for ESPN Body Issue about 4 or 5 years ago. And we found one of the two guys that did it. And he was very, you know what? He wrote me a sincere apology. It was like it was a very touching thing. We couldn't find the other guy.
But did he know it was you? I mean, could he put it all together 2 and 2? Does he know that the guy he hit is Kenny Mayne?
He said that he knew it for years, yeah.
Okay.
Because he heard me reference it in other times or people make fun of how big my ankle looks and, Brad Doherty telling me to cut it off and, and I actually considered that at the time. But this is going back to where I got a brace that helped me at the time. But that was sort of like the station wagon. More recently, I found the Ferrari.
I was going to say, how did you, and it's runfreely.org. You've been through, 10 surgeries?
Roughly, yeah. My sister runs a foundation. You guys, I think, have plugged it before. Race for a Soldier down in Gig Harbor and raise money for PTSD treatment.
Absolutely.
So she said, you got to see this guy, Ryan Blank. He's like this genius, only guy in the world making this thing. And I already had a brace. So I was like, I'll get to him later. Finally, I gave him a shot. Put it on the first day, and I cried for about 2 hours.
I was going to say, you did physically cry, didn't you?
Yeah, it was such a blessing and kind of felt unworthy additionally. Like, it was made for soldiers, right? The R&D is because we have so many men and women coming back from war injured, and they needed a brace to take away the pain. Basically, my ankle's not going to be good. It's not going to fix my ankle, but you stick it on, and it takes away the pain.
How does that
It displaces
work?
the pressure on the joint.
All right, but
how it be like? I don't know how my car works either.
No, I got you.
But it does.
I don't know how I don't know how TV works. I used to think people got inside it.
Were you strong enough to be able to run? Like, were your legs? I mean, was it kind of an adjustment period just to be able to have that strength?
Once you get the device, they like to call it a device, not a brace. You need some training. You need to learn how to walk again, right? Because I've been limping around and favoring my other side and throwing off my joints and my hip and everything else. So you need some really intensive training to kind of relearn how your body's supposed to be, walking, the right proper gait and so forth.
But you fought through it through all those years. I mean, I've seen you walked Chambers Bay. I saw. I mean, you were limping your ass off out there.
You saw us out at the Mike McCready football tournament.
Yeah. Sure, and you play. You still have a cannon.
Yeah. I mean, do you like running though? So we hear about, and I always have this thing where I'm like, everybody wants to be mobile. Of that, there's no question. I am lucky enough that I am, but I don't want to run. Like, why can't it just be like walk freely? You know what I'm saying?
You know what? That's the thing with run freely sounded cool.
It does sound much better. It sounds much better for sure.
So yeah, I'm trying to stay up with this girl here, Gretchen, my wife, and
you guys, this is your guys' organization. You started this.
So I called her and said we should do something good to, like honor these soldiers who basically gave us the gift of this thing without all the R&D that took place to define this thing and make this brace what it is. And so I said, we should buy one. We should buy one and give. And she said, no, we should buy two. So from there, it just kind of evolved. Let's make an organization. Let's go through all the process and attorney general and lawyers. And, so we have an official 501c3, it's called. And we have an event this Saturday. That's why we're here. And I appreciate you letting us put out the word. It's at Sammamish High School. And people who come are going to just hopefully enjoy the show. We got Gary Payton, Jamal Crawford, Steve Largent, Jerry Rice, and Lenny Wilkins.
You just make some phone calls and that.
See, you can do that. We do things like, all right, our buddy Bob's coming. You're going to love him, though. He's a great guy.
I have these visions of grandeur. I always shoot for the moon. I was like, we should rent out Heck Ed, or we should do the Coliseum, and we ended up, Sammamish were really blessed to be there. They were great to accommodate us. It's just right. It's the right place. So hopefully people are going to get something from it, knowing they're helping some veterans get these devices. And we're going to bring our first 3 recipients. You'll get to meet them. So we're right away going to award 3 of them out of the gate.
Nice. And have they put this thing on? Have they experienced what it's like?
They're already through the trials. They don't have their official device yet, but there's a process to get fitted and casted, and then they have to make the dang thing, right? They got this science fiction laboratory down in Gig Harbor.
It fits you based on your leg?
Mine only fits me, and yours only fits you.
Okay.
You got to wonder. So you said you're bringing Jerry Rice, and I'm thinking Jerry Rice has recently joined Brett Favre on the late night commercials for that copper.
This is better than the copper.
I was going to say, like, hey, Jerry, don't bring up the copper thing, bro.
I only knew Jerry from mimosa pictures on Instagram on Sunday morning, so that's
I'm sure the copper device has its attributes.
Sure
and
it
it's
does.
helping many people. But this one is specific to somebody with a really severe lower leg injury that you literally might be considering taking it off. Like, the pain is that bad. And I found this great Cairo guy in Kirkland, Nino Pribic. Let's plug him as well. He kind of brought my leg back to life a few years ago, and then this new device. And Gretchen and I have gone on some hikes. I played flag football a couple of times with some veterans.
Yep.
We play these games 2 or 3 times a year.
You do the Lang McCready thing every year?
Yeah.
Speaking of that, Pearl Jam's in town. We're talking with Kenny Mayne from ESPN Sports Center.
We're going to give away 10 tickets to Pearl Jam.
Yeah, I bet you'd love to do this.
June from Tom Petty. Let's take a break.
Funny thing about
No, we're not. Do we have tickets to give away? We should.
No,
you're breaking hearts out there.
Sold out.
Pearl Jam.
You can probably make a phone call, though. Are you going to one of these 2 shows? And I know you are a huge music fan.
Yes.
You are.
You know what? I'm looking forward to this, but I'm also looking forward to September 1st, my birthday, Stevie Wonder.
And that's in Massachusetts,
and
right?
then the next day, Pearl Jam at Fenway.
So you're going to hit...
I'm doing 3 Pearl Jam shows in 3 weeks.
And one here in Seattle as well?
2.
You're going to do tonight, Friday night, and then...
Tonight and Friday. Not Montana, not Chicago, but Boston.
And Stevie Wonder is one of your... I mean, like,
Yes.
you'll just randomly tweet out
It's
Stevie Wonder lyrics. And
Right.
It's coded, like I'm not supposed to write political things because of the job I have. So, but Stevie kind of, it still resonates. Like, you can just quote Big Brother and it says a lot of things.
Wait, say, man, I'm quoting
you
Stevie
haven't done
Wonder.
nothing. You get it.
Okay, what I like, so yesterday, and I
People
couldn't
get
figure
all
out,
up in your timeline.
all I hear is Miles going, how in the F is he going to Stevie effing Wonder? How did we not hear about this effing show? I want to see Stevie. So this explains it. Okay, it's in Massachusetts.
Yeah, see, because I saw he did songs in the Key of Life in its entirety, and that's a great album.
The greatest album ever is Talking Book.
Yeah, well, that's what I've
There's
a couple of lulls in songs in the Key of Life. I like most of the songs, but when you're sitting there and you're going through the whole entire body
Remember
of
when
it.
it came out? It had the 2 big albums, 33s, and it had the bonus 45.
Ah,
Anybody
back in the
remember that?
day.
They called it the Something's Extra. That's
Yeah.
what it was ever. But getting back to why I'm here.
Why are you here?
I want people. The website is called Run RUN Freely FREELY runfreely.org ORG. And if you go there, it explains everything. Tells the whole story, how it happened to me, and the trials I went through, and finding this device, and how we wanted to share it with some folks that deserve it. A lot of them can't afford it. It's $9,000 to buy one, and a lot of insurance doesn't cover that type of thing. It's a little experimental. So hopefully people will see that, click on it, buy a ticket, and show up this Saturday at Sammamish High School.
Yep.
Food at noon, show at 2.
You're barbecuing? What are you doing? You're cooking
We
food?
got a couple nice restaurants volunteered. The first day I put it out, several people just wanted to help. Say, hey, how can we support this? Keegan Hall, Keegan, the great artist, he's made this amazing poster. We're going to try to sell those.
Nice.
Gretchen made some hats and T-shirts. Not physically. She didn't sew them. With
We have children for that.
When you talk to these,
She's been crocheting for the last 6 months.
when you talk to when you talk to these guys and women who are coming back, and their injuries are all different and stuff. It's got to be pretty powerful.
It's very
to know that
humbling.
this-
Gretchen will if you fire her mic up. She says, okay,
You'll be fine. Go ahead.
So we received letters from the 3 soldiers who are going to receive it. And seriously, I cried on 2 of them. The third guy I almost did, but I think I was busy with something else.
It's like the third child. No pictures of them, nothing.
Exactly. They're so humble and just simple honesty and what we're doing for them. And I just feel like we're paying back a debt. I'm not looking for any
I would
claim
agree.
for doing this. Like, they did what they did. I got this brace that changed my life, and we decided let's do something good about it.
Let me ask you this, because you kind of, no pun intended, kind of have a leg up in this because this is something that you're pushing, right? And you're saying, like, insurance doesn't cover it. It's still somewhat experimental, right? Understood. Is there any way you can almost lobby the Fed to say, like, look, we get insurance going to do what they do. These are soldiers. This is not your average person. It's not just some Kenny Mayne from ESPN, but like people that are actual soldiers that have sustained these injuries based on a duty that you have called them to do. Like, can we pick up the tab on that? So insurance doesn't have to cover, but I would think anything that's going to help a veteran repair, whether it's mental or physical, like, why can't that just be part of the package that we have to cover this?
Couldn't agree more, because it also, you said mental or physical. This one actually is both, because if you wake up in pain and barely want to get out of bed,
It affects
hopping across it throws you off, and then it hurts their chances for employment. There's all sorts of things that play into it. So it almost is a PTSD issue to some degree, depending on what happens.
So you're probably thinking about like running a half marathon now, aren't you? Like
I'm not going to do the half. I'm going to do the 5K.
Yeah, right there. All right.
At my sister's event in September, I'm going to chase her, see if I can.
When's the last time you've been able to actually run?
I've done sprints with this thing, but I haven't, to your point, hey, I'm going to go run 6 miles today. Like, no. I want to just be more active, but I definitely could use a little more cardio, so maybe I should get back on it.
Okay, well, let me ask you this then. If it was not your sister's event, would you be running 5K?
If I knew what that event was about, given my history and the relationship, I think I would sign up for it. But they're doing great things. We, with that organization, put money into, have you heard of Growing Veterans?
Yes.
They're up in Mount Vernon doing amazing. They basically farm together. That's their healing. And they make product and they sell it or they give it away. There's others that are mountain climbing. There's dogs that are helping soldiers. There's horse training that helps soldiers. All sorts of things that just kind of normalize and put people in a safer space and kind of get them away from what it was they know that the two of us.
So that's why we do beer. You don't have to work on the farm. We just keep it easy. You just be gluttonous and disgusting.
Hey, we're going to give away a Jeff Ament pick.
You got all this.
No, that we will give away to the next caller.
You don't have a Jeff Ament pick on your
not
person.
On me. It's like at home or somewhere.
Or somewhere.
Okay, all right.
We'll give it to you just as soon as I can find it.
Now, I don't know if this was because you got married and you needed to get rid of your man cave or whatever, but you did another thing that was great as far as charity goes. You auctioned off half your crap.
Not half, but a goodly amount. We had a Joe Montana to Dwight Clark. Remember the famous play that the whole fans know called The Catch? Yeah. And those two signed a helmet, and then Joe drew the catch and God bless Dwight Clark just passed away. So we auctioned that, and that money went to Puerto Rico relief because we didn't see our government helping as much as some of us thought.
They handed out paper towels. And we got it on video. Why don't you back off?
What else do we have? We had a Ken Griffey ball. I tried to auction.
Great stuff,
I tried to auction a Seahawks champagne bottle to celebrate when they won the Super Bowl.
It's alcohol and you can't ship it.
No, wasn't that? There wasn't enough bid on it, so I just bid against myself and kept it.
Drank it. Jimmy May.
Nothing in it.
Everybody from ESPN Sports Center, runfreely.org Saturday from noon until 3:30. Stop by Sammamish High School. You guys are going to raise some money and do some good.
Here's two from Aerosmith.
Thank you so much. You are listening to the Men's Room Radio Network.
We return to the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
Coming up, we'll drink and tell us what the shot of the day, bud, first.
We're full of useless information, and you have far too many brain cells not to let us kill a few. So lend an ear while the Men's Room shares what you don't need to know.
This is from our friends at BroBible.com. If you haven't checked out that website, do so. It is a goodie. And it's which type of alcohol causes the worst hangover? Do you guys have any guesses before I get into the scientific study of what you think, based on your own personal experience, you believe to be the worst?
I mean, just alcohol, not mixers? I'll say whiskey.
Whiskey? All right.
Just because it has a high sugar.
Steve, any guesses?
Everyone says tequila, but based on the sugar thing and the hang. But anyway, tequila is about regret. Whiskey is about feeling bad. I'm going to agree with Ted. Say whiskey.
They say, what causes a hangover? The answer? Alcohol. Most drinks are easily absorbed by the kidneys, but drinking more alcohol makes them get progressively lazier, and the result is what you wake up to, man. Just your head about ready to split in half and everything else. So you probably never heard of these things called congeners, but they're largely responsible for many of the nights you've ended up regretting in the morning. As a general rule, dark drinks contain more congeners. Now, that's part of the fermentation process, and many of these elements that shape the flavor and nose of your favorite adult beverage, which means that if you are a fan of whiskey, cognac, red wine, you are especially at risk to have a hell of a hangover on Saturday morning. The impact of congeners was examined by a Dutch study, which also found hard alcohol seemed to be responsible for the most severe hangovers. Another study found bourbon the absolute worst culprit. So you're right, Ted.
Yeah.
It's bourbon. And there's no doubt about it, as it contains an estimated 37 more times congeners than vodka. Taking everything into consideration, if you're looking to avoid a hangover, your best bet is to stay away from the brown liquors and the ones that are on the bottom shelf for sure. And there's also evidence that mixing carbonated drinks with that bourbon, that's going to make things even worse, especially true of drinks with sugar. The worst thing that you can drink is basically a Jack and Coke.
Oh, man.
That's going to suck for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But you're not going to stop drinking it. because it is good.
And if it's your well whiskey, because it doesn't matter when you mix it with Coke, you do a well whiskey and Coke and all that. Yeah, that's pretty well just about as bad as it can be if you want to feel bad the next day.
But that's just making it worse, right? Isn't part of it just saying, like, if you're drinking alcohol, you're going to get hungover?
You're going to get hungover, but it's going to be worse if you have more of these, as they call them,
congeners.
Congeners, I believe.
But again, we always take these studies one way because we drink so much when we do drink. But then again, I'm like, normal people, if you have 2 or 3 Jack or Cokes, probably not going to ruin your life. We just know if we do it, honestly, we're going to have 7 or 8.
I think the last time that Ted and I drank whiskey and Coke, the last time I drank whiskey and Coke, we had how many?
I don't remember.
I heard 14 or 15, and that's by the time I joined you guys.
There you go with what you don't need to know. All right, speaking of, Wobbin, have we made it to drinking time?
Somebody out there deserves to be recognized. And the men's room knows just who it is. So to you, we say, bottoms up, sailor. You're the toast of our shot of the day.
Drink time it is, and as usual, we head to the drink desk and Steve Thrill Hill to find out who we're toasting.
Yes, indeed. And today we toast the band Jimmy Eat World, specifically the drummer, one Zach Lind. All right. One of the things we say on the show all the time, if you're going to have a kid, you have names that you're thinking of, at least the guys, we will then rhyme the name with every horrible thing that you believe other kids are going to call the kid, because it's just the point that at some point they're going to have to deal with that, right? So the important thing is to really think these things through. So as he says, quote, I'm not saying that our name, Jimmy Eat World, is not right, but when we have to design merchandise or artwork, I often wish we deliberated a bit more. Now, just so you know, they came up with the name back in 94. They were practicing in a garage. They got an offer to perform at a party at a thrift store. So they wanted the gig, but they didn't have a name yet. So a couple of the other guys, they'd been in a band where they changed their name every gig and called themselves Jimmy Eat World. That was one of the names. So in the end, they said, look, we need a name. We discussed it for less than 5 minutes. We decided to call ourselves Jimmy Eat World. And since then, they've done pretty well for themselves. The point he's making now is it's really hard to come up with cool graphic designs because they realized that every time they abbreviate the band's name, it simply spells Jew. And while they have nothing wrong with Jewish people, so he just said, we realize there's so much merchandise we can't do because people misinterpret what the shirt is about. A lot of people that go to the shows don't necessarily want to wear something that looks like it says Jew. So we're toasting Jimmy Eat World for recognizing that you really need to think about your name before you do these things.
Ride the slut.
Yeah, so he says, moral of the story, insignificant decisions can be much bigger. So we pour this booze and we drink this booze because we think yummy.
Yummy!
So over the tongue and down the throat to party in our tummies.
Down the hola, bitchola! Let's get to caller 9 on the line right now for Profile This, 844-999-OLA.
Hola! The shenanigans continue on the Men's Room Radio Network.